let's say, rabbis or Jewish personalities of yesteryear. Now, a great man with the name Avraham Hen, I believe he was a rabbi, was passed away, I think, in 2005. We're talking about 20 years ago, on Gimel Tishrei, I believe, on Tzom Gedalia. He was born all the way back in 1911, a very famous man in of itself, especially in Zionistic history. Now, he came from rabbinic, I think he came from a great heritage. His father's name was Shimon and his mother's name was Esther. He was born in Jerusalem in 1911, I think part of the old city of Jerusalem. Now, it's actually interesting. I think he would live in the old city. I think he would end up living in Nachlat Shiva neighborhood in Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken, a place we've spoken about on various occasions before. Most famously, he would learn in the Doresh Tzion school in Jerusalem, a school we actually recorded a video about on various occasions before over here. And in fact, Nachlat Shiva, where he would live, I believe, is a place that we've actually visited before here on this channel on several occasions before. I think it's, let's say, I think it's a courtyard in Jerusalem, and it's built outside the walls of the old city. It's a place I think we visited before, especially the Rivlin Street, and so on and so forth. I recommend everyone to look at the tours we have done all across the land of Israel. So he was actually from there, would learn in Doresh Tzion, Talmud Torah, over there, where there were other, I think, prominent rabbis that would actually go on to learn there also, which is spoken about inside that specific video, which I recommend everyone to look at. And then afterwards, he'd learn in the Beit Midrash for educators, I think. Through Lipschitz one, I think, very interesting. So that's another place I think we've mentioned before. It's a Lipschitz, I think, teachers seminary. And that's where he would be trained to teach over there. So that it's a seminary I think we did mention on let's say on various occasions before in this series, because we did explore also some of the rabbis that would learn inside the famous let's say Doresh Tzion school, Talmud Torah. So yes, that was a famous place in of itself. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe that was standing since the year 1921, but I'd have to double check on that. But it is well known. Okay, so let's continue over there. So he would learn, get trained there. All his life, he was really involved, I think, in the educational field, the sphere in of itself, in teaching. He was there. Now it's interesting. He would start off and start teaching in a Beit Sefer, I think, called the Beit Aaron, the House of Aaron, for 24 years. A staggering amount of time. It'll be like that's an entire generation. So we learned there. He will manage various schools that were established in Bet Shemesh. Now I'm recording this video at the time here from Bet Shemesh, respectively. They would establish schools over there. I think he would establish a Bet Sefer Yeshurim in Kiryat Yovel in Jerusalem, another place we visited on this channel. A school also that would become maybe a boys' school, a young boys' school, maybe an older boys' schools also, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he would transform the schools from small schools into large and successful schools. So he was very, very well known for that. Now it's reported over that during the time period of the Milchemet Yom Ha'atzmaut, on the Independence War in 1948, it was he would be doing much, much more even at that point in time. He was involved in special education tasks and arose. Let's say, obviously, there was very, very difficult times because of the war, and I think he would receive a certificate of appreciation from the Teachers Foundation at that window of time. It says over here, "Ne'tam lemishimot chinuch miuchadot she'alu metukaf hazman hakashe zman hamilchama v'al kach kibel teudat hukra metam histadrut hamorim." So we get recognized within regards to all the, let's say, huge amounts of efforts he gave. Giving and loving kindness were guiding principles of Avraham Hen. And over the years, he took on the management of a special school. He worked with various different boys. There was another school, I think, called Elihu School, also, which he would very much have an integral part of Bet Sefer Elihu over there, and really would help out people in all the different spheres in of itself. Many of them happen to have been actually immigrants who I think he would bring about them an imbuement of installing study habits, how to study in a very well time period, and will help within regards to supporting their families during the remaining hours. And even after he retired, he didn't stop giving to others. He was a constant giver, let's just say, in of itself, constantly Chesed, 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 chesed. That was definitely a motto. Let's just through not just through kindness, volunteering. I think he volunteered a lot for the Yad Sarah Institute, and I think he would help the Blind Educator Center Synagogue, I think in the Kiryat Moshe neighborhood in Jerusalem. Now that's a place I think we visited over here before in this channel. It's right next to the central bus station, like literally a 5-minute walk away from there. And I think we recorded outside there. I think also he would go to different synagogues and would help in regards to Shabbat and Chagim, and would also he would work to integrate blind students of the institution with the residents of neighborhoods. So the chesed work he was doing was absolutely phenomenal. Now it's actually interesting. I think come with the year 1995 it was, his book, the Avraham Hen, would actually come out with different ideas on the Parashiot Tashuvah, on the weekly Torah portion. And I believe he passed away on Gimel Tishrei in 2005. We're talking about 20 years ago. That happened to have been Som Gedalia, the fast of Gedalia. He was 94 years of age. I believe he was buried in Jerusalem. And yeah, that's very interesting. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the book that he actually published. Was called From Avraham Hen, the Bnei Hen. I think there's an idea from Parshat Re'eh, which is brought down in page 146. Melamed, Shadaga lechasei isha hi ikar gadol b'dinei Israel. This one teaching there. Another teaching, this time from Parshat Vayera, I think page 24-25. It says, Melamed, Abraham din arvut la'anushut kula. This is one of the teachings over here. Another teaching, I think now come from Parshat Shemot. Melamed shriyat halev garma leMoshe Lintosh Ma'amado Litzaref Le'nedchaim, if I'm not mistaken. Now teaching coming from Parshat Naso, this time in the book of Bamidbar. Melamed Likro Parsha Harucha B'Torah Miyat Lachar Chag HaShavuot. Talking about Parshat Naso, how it's the longest Parsha and it's after Shavuot, 176 verses respectively. And two more ideas. One come from Yitro. I think this actually comes from page number 60. Melamed Shakdima Torah Chok Umishpat Lematan Torah Shekadma Derech Eretz. We know that Parshat Yitro very much features the giving over of the Torah, just like in Shavuot. And then from Parshat Kedoshim, which is really the center, middle parsha of the 5 books of Moses. Melamed Shetorah Achat Hi Ben Adam Lemakom Ben Adam Lechaveiro. That I think comes from page 95 inside that respective teachings inside that book in of itself. So he was a famous person of his time. He did a huge amount of chesed work. Someone, doing a lot of jobs which maybe a lot of people would not necessarily, let's just say, do. He was very, very much part of and working on that constantly, and very, very interesting. So he was about 94 years of age when he passed away. And obviously, Som Gedalia is his Hilula. It's a date of his passing. So learn more about him and learn more about Jewish personalities of yesteryear, which is very interesting. And he was an educator. He was a famous person, and someone that we've learned about on various occasions before. So we have to, let's say, point that out. Also, now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about famous people of yesteryear. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now. We are nearing a staggering, at the moment, 7,500 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people and help this community grow from strength to strength like we're doing at the moment. Now, once again, if you dissent from any of these rabbis, the great rabbis we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Now, friends, we are coming into the festival of Rosh Hashanah just tomorrow night. So I want to wish you all fantastic listeners. K'tiva v'chatima tova, shana tova u'metuka. Just a lot of blessings here from Israel, a lot of brachot. And may we see good blessings also for the whole of Am Yisrael. And once again, just asking nicely, please subscribe to the channel and take care and have a great night. Thank you.